Hello, I'm Fredrik Kinbom and I'm gonna talk a bit about my new album Songs for Lap Steel and Harmonium. So this album, here it is, out now on Sotones Records. And I should also mention, if you want to listen to the whole album or get a vinyl copy, there are links down here below in the description where you can stream it or buy the LP or whatever you like. Well, as the name implies, it's called Songs for Lap Steel and Harmonium, so the concept, I had the idea to only use two instruments on the album, or two types of instruments. The lap steel slide guitar, which is kind of my main thing that I do, and then also these old things, the harmonium or reed organ or pump organ as it's also known.
Have passed, my back is not so straight now, but my plan is alive and well. On the inside I build vast monuments and bridges. Who are you to judge and tell? Me, they're only in my head. They are quite real, I tell you.
Both these instruments, in my mind, are very expressive and sort of a lot about exploring the textures and sounds that could be found in these old and new things. The lap steels are not all old.
The city's freaks come out in force to see him sway and hear him sing. Doesn't matter if he does it well or not, to them he is the king. Rather than admit he sometimes fails, all the choir boys proclaim. His latest is a hit on the guest list, and at his table they remain. Oh, oh, oh,
oh. In the process of making the record, I used about 5 different lap steels, and I ended up with 3 harmoniums, because the first one I got here, it's a beautiful old Mannborg German harmonium from 1905 or 1906. It broke down, and while that was being repaired, I got another one, also an old German one from the 1920s. And then I thought, how I'm gonna do this live? I need to find something portable. So I did some research and I found an old US Army field organ from the Second World War, made by a company called SD. And so that ended up on the record too. And in this next song, the intro there is very much about exploring in that case, the SD harmonium drone, and then in combination with this beautiful Lap King rodeo lap steel built by a great guy in luthier in the US called Jason Dumont. So I set these limits of only using 2 types of instruments, but sometimes I wanted a little bit of a percussive thing, and then I was actually just drumming on the harmonium, and in one case I wanted a bass, and then I played it on the lap, like with the slide, to stick with the formula.
When you wished for a crystal fruit bowl for Christmas all those years ago, one knew and you told no one. Your brother comes, lo and behold, he gives you a crystal fruit bowl, his wife's vision in the mall led you to
And there you could hear the two guest vocalists I had in this album, Sonja Kessner and Cordula Hans. And at the outro of this song I also was happy to use these two old beautiful American guitars, a National New Yorker from 1937 and this actually a cheap Wahoo student guitar from the 1930s which I put through an octave pedal. So this album, when I had the idea of doing the Harmonium and Lapsteel album, I pretty much started writing the album from scratch too, and I did one song at a time. I wrote it, made a demo, recorded it, and then moved on to the next one. And the first one was a song called Gurrumul. And that's a lake, Gurrumul, the name, is a lake in southwest Berlin, a very beautiful place to go swimming and so on. But I think Berlin is such a fascinating place with its history, and I found out that a British Lancaster bomber crashed into this lake in 1944, which you don't really think about normally when you go swimming there. And there's also this settlement of houses next to it that looks really idyllic and pretty, and little houses and everything is neat and flowers and forest. And it was actually built for the SS officers and their families by the Nazis. So these are kind of things that you can find behind the sunny surface of Berlin. And this song was based around the Mannborg here, the first harmonium I got, which was actually about to collapse at the time of recording, so therefore it sounds like out of breath. And now they're presenting another guitar here for the Lapsteel geeks. It's the beautiful baritone Weissenborn built by Paddy Burgin in New Zealand. And I recorded the album entirely here in my little home studio setup in Berlin. And then it was mixed by Joe Talia, a great engineer and musician in Tokyo. And then it was mastered at Crystal Mastering in Melbourne, Australia, just to, keep it international. No, to have other people involved as well. When you do everything yourself, it's nice to have some other people with their gear and their ears to also be involved in the process of finishing the album. And recording at home, the neighbors have been pretty nice to me here, I would say. But once when I recorded this song that comes up next on this organ, as I've recorded the first take, I just hear a rumbling, and it was the neighbor downstairs who put on Metallica's Black Album on full volume, so the whole building was rattling. And like I mentioned, this album was very much about exploring the sounds and textures of the instruments, and this next song is called The Cinema Behind the Bakery. It was developed from very much from the recording process, because some friends of mine were working on a theater project, and they said they wanted a dissonant drone with mechanical machine breaking down sounds. So I did that on the harmonium and Lapsteel, and then I thought it had a certain vibe to it, and I made a loop from one of the Lapsteel noises I made, and developed a song around that.
You hit notes that caught my ear and imagination as a boy. Oh boy, I thought.
And I actually ended up using 2 harmoniums and 4 lap steels on this track, so it's probably the densest, the thickest soup on the album. Little things like percussive noises on the New Yorker, for instance.
Back and forth as they please.
And acoustic things on both the Oahu and the Burgin Weissenborn baritone.
Wonder of never to, wonder of never to, wonder of...
And the next song is called Ho Hum. It's a more straight sort of Weissenborn tune, which we also did a video for, which comes here.
You are not jaded, that is what they say. But you feel it.
And another note on recording in a home environment when it's not proper soundproofing and stuff. The next song, it's not a song, it's a little instrumental called Manborg's Lament, which was basically a little melody on this thing here. And then I thought it would be really nice if it was really quiet, but it wasn't really quiet. I could hear birds singing and stuff outside, so I actually embraced the noises and opened the balcony door, and the S-Bahn and the train and birds all became part of the recording, which you can't do in the studio, proper studio. So, for those who are still watching, hello, thanks for sticking with me. The album is available on vinyl, LP, download, streaming, but also as a little booklet that also comes with the LP. But it's also like a booklet with a download code in it. It's like a CD without a CD for the modern age. And I haven't said much about the lyrics of the album, but I thought I don't like to talk about the lyrics myself so much. You can, they're all in that little booklet, and you can hear them, I hope. You can hear what I sing. But the last song I thought I could mention something about. It was is called Swede Hollow, and it was inspired by a book I read by a Swedish author, Ola Larsmo, that's called Swede Hollow too, and it's named after a valley in St. Paul, Minnesota, where Swedish immigrants, they emigrated from Sweden to escape poverty, and they ended up living in urban slums in America, like this one. And they were met with prejudice because they couldn't speak the language. People thought they looked strange, those blonde people who couldn't speak properly, and said they were smelling bad. Prejudice against newcomers, which Swedish people faced then and other people face today. So I thought we should all have empathy and think that anyone can end up in this kind of situation. So we did a video for Swede Hollow too, and here comes that. Thanks for watching, listening. If you want to get the album, thank you. LPs and streams and stuff are available down there in the links, and goodbye.
I rest for 90 years now. I can see you all up there. You don't even know that I was. I made it across the sea, unlike so many today. Can't you see that they are me? And you would allow me to stay. My blue eyes, my flaxen hair, words of scorn fly through the